I don't know if it's an Afro wig, but it was without the hijab. And she made a post on that, and on the song in the background was Glorilla Let Her Cook. She says this: I don't have blind loyalty to any person. I bet you don't remember what you did that day, and neither do I. But thank goodness that Instagram takes account of all times and dates when we make posts on that respective network. And on that particular day, Brittany Renner shocked the world when she said this.
What made you choose Islam? I didn't. I am a human.
Man, I remember that video. I did not believe that bullshit. I didn't.
And with very limited power and awareness. But I have learned that God selects who he wills for his mercy.
The caption for that post that she read was, Allah chose me. And this was interesting because many people came into that post in the comment section.
Man, I hate when people do this, you know. Jesus Christ the only way, Jesus Christ is the truth. What? I hate when they do that. Yeah, like, bro, like, I'm a Christian, but, bro, those kind of people are not Christians. They're religious. Is this religious fanatics? Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. Bro, just be happy the person picked their religion. Because ultimately, whether you like it or not, the truth is, all religions are the same. We all pray to the same person. And just in our own different ways, respectively, based off our cultures and, you know, country and, like, languages. But it's all ultimately the same thing. So seeing things like this, man, that's the worst, man. If ever you're doing the opposite of trying to help.
With some level of support and gratitude for her conversion, while others believed that it was all a scam. It wasn't so many months ago that Brittany Renner was drunk and basically twerking on Charleston White, and now all of a sudden, Brittany Renner is a Muslim. And then, of course, brothers started wanting to see what was going on with that, and we started to see if she would slip out on Instagram. And did she do it? No, she didn't. She was always covered up, dressed modestly. And then we all wanted to know about Brittany Renner's dating life.
I have not been on a date since I've been Muslim. Now, there have been plenty of married Muslim men in my DMs, and just because it's permissible does not mean I have to sign up for it.
That is so funny. So basically what that means is Muslim people that were married weren't interested in her when she was hoeing around. But the moment she started covering herself up, hey, I'm in there. Like, huh? Man.
I didn't come this far to be one of several, so let's be very crystal clear on that. When you go without sex for an extended amount of time and you are honoring yourself in a way that you never have before, you really start to see where people are leaking their energy, where they lack discipline.
I agree with that. As crazy as it might sound, I actually agree with what she's saying. I get where she's actually coming from. I'm going through a similar period. Not like I'm abstaining from sex necessarily, but like I just came to realize that there's way more important things in life than women and sex. And my focus and attention and energy and resource should be put onto those things that are more important. Like 9% of things that I'm doing in life. And especially my purpose in life. That's where all my focus is. So while you're doing all that, bro, you don't even think about sex. You don't even think about the woman. Like before you know, a month is by, 2 months by, 3, bro. Because you feel so focused on the hustle, man. Things like women and sex, bro, you don't think about that shit at all.
Interesting that she would say that, because all of a sudden she was aware that the people that were trying to talk to her, they had bad energy and they lacked discipline. She wasn't going to be a co-wife for just anybody or at all, because, hey, she was going to make a dating choice. It was going to be the right one. And to our knowledge, Brittany Renner made this choice most likely when she converted to Islam and just didn't want to tell anybody, because shortly thereafter, we started to see her make appearances with Kevin Gates. And the next thing you know, they were official. Kevin Gates and Brittany Renner were a couple. Let's stop the show. There's an issue. Wasn't Kevin Gates already married? Damn. Yeah, he was married to Drika Gates. And in fact, he is still legally married to Drika Gates. But we saw Brittany Renner and Kevin Gates in a relationship. So we didn't know if this was him taking on a second wife or if Drika was in the picture. And it definitely now appears.
Bro, Kevin Gates did a dirty, man. Hey, Man, I can't even say did it there to blood. Because I guess that's karma for what Brittany Renner has been doing to other men.
That Drika Gates was no longer in the picture and was okay with Kevin
Sorry
Gates
about that.
living his life. And so there Brittany Renner was going around with Kevin Gates, obviously receiving a large amount of scrutiny for dealing with a married man. And of course, everything that...
Because that's so hypocritical. She said in that video prior, I don't want to deal with men that are already married. But yet she was dealing with Kevin Gates, that who was legally still married. See, this is when I say to people, especially men, do not listen to women. Don't listen to what they say. Not in a disrespectful way or in a rude way. I genuinely mean it when I say don't listen to them. That clip, this moment just proved that point yet again. Because women will just go off what they're thinking, what they're feeling at that given point. But their actions always show otherwise. And you always go off their actions, not of what they're saying.
Glitters isn't gold, because eventually we found out that this relationship was short-lived.
We got married April 6th and divorced May 28th.
So you're divorced.
Boy, when I saw that, because I did a reaction video on this video basically, boy, when I saw that and she said that, I was flabbergasted. I was like, this is beyond me. You guys were married for like 52 days. Just barely over a month.
Divorced.
Yes. But there is a 90-day waiting period in Islam where it's basically you have 90 days to see if you're pregnant, because then he would be responsible, right? And then also in those 90 days, it's for reconciliation because Allah wants you to stay married.
Just after 2 months of marriage, Brittany Renner announced
It wasn't even 2 months, 52 days. Just over a month.
the divorce, and Kevin Gates would back that up when he went to the BET Awards, and he would say that he didn't want to talk about it and all of that. And then the future for Brittany Renner was kind of up in the air. We didn't really know what was going to happen.
I had the feelings. Like, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, she returned back to the streets. She is returned back to this, because the main reason she probably became religious, turned to Islam, was she was trying to use the religion in order to, comfort herself and look away and hide and run away from what is actually within herself. As in, instead of looking within herself and fix what's within herself, she was looking outside, in this case Islam, and she grabbed Islam, hugged it, and used it as a comfort to basically, run away from what actually needed to be fixed, which was within herself. So yeah, she looked at the outside, the external factors, and you try to use that to fix herself from the outside rather than looking within and fix it from within first.
And in fact, Brittany Renner was still making appearances just like a normal Muslim woman. And she was even talking about becoming more conservative.
People want me to hang on to my past. I don't have to. I am choosing removal. I'm choosing tattoo removal. Like, this is my choice. You're either going to suffer by making the sacrifice, or you're going to suffer because you're not sacrificing. My future self doesn't want these tattoos anymore. I'm just going in a different direction. At any point in time, you can change the direction of your pen. And so I think for me, it's like peaceful.
Sorry about that. True, I was gonna quickly say, no, she kind of arrived with that one, like the message prior, where she said, at any given point in your life, you can always change your direction. Just because you're walking one path right now, it does not mean to yourself or to the world that you have to continue to walk that path. If anything, it's very normal for you to, realize or figure out that, this stuff I've been walking on is actually the wrong one, isn't the right one. I should actually be going on that path over there. It's very normal. That's life. I don't think there's anything ever wrong with that.
Powerful, both. I can let go. Like, I don't have to hang on to it anymore.
As you can see, she talked about changing her past, and she continued to go on that tangent. Now, this is interesting because Brittany Renner, in my honest opinion, she's somewhat of a free spirit. So things like Islam or more conservative things, I would think that a person like her would have an issue with that because it is so strict. But again, this is Brittany Renner, so I believe that she feels like she's always evolving and finding her quote unquote truth, whatever that is. And of course, we hear a lot of women, especially the younger women, always talk about fighting their truth. And hey, she is changing her own past by removing those tattoos.
Oh wow.
But wait, there's more. Brittany Renner would then go on to post this on Instagram. She would.
I saw that on my timeline. I don't think my ex timeline. Bruh, I looked at it. I was like, what the hell is going on? Bro, like I said again, and I'll repeat it again. Do not listen to women. Ever. Never. Only go off what their actions are showing you.
Post this particular photo of.
I like her hair though, I can't lie. I really like it. I like the curly. I love women with natural hair, especially black women. Oh my god, that shit is just sexy to me.
Of herself, or video of herself rather, and basically, I don't know if it's an afro wig, but it was without the hijab, and she made a post on that, and on the song in the background was Glorilla Let Her Cook. She says this: I don't have blind loyalty to any person, place, or thing. I also don't need excuses to do what I want to do because I accept whatever comes behind my decisions. It's still alhamdulillah for everything. Hope this helps. It's interesting because people started to put their opinions about this subject.
So Brittany Renner is no longer wearing a hijab and has a full-blown afro on Instagram, and talks about on her story how she had to wear braids to be able to fit her hair under a hijab, and she's not going to compromise or shrink herself to meet anyone's standards or approval. And whether it be like Islam and the culture, or acceptance from Kevin Gates, the person she's claiming she was legally married to, I'm sure those are one of the two references. Now, this is very interesting because people are calling BS with Brittany Renner. They're saying, hey, you took all your twerking videos down when you got with PJ Washington, and then you put them up as soon as you broke up, as soon as you're not with Kevin Gates anymore. Now you got an afro and you're like disrespecting the hijab. Some people are going to have issues with it. Some people are going to say, hey, she's living in the truth, and appreciate her for just being, I guess, her at every turn and corner.
It wasn't just the guy that we saw, the content creator. It was people in the comment section. Going to hell in multiple religions is wild. Bro, put that ish back on before the women of Islam disown you. Lady Cap says, she's the definition of if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
True.
Got him! This guy says, imagine she did this ish in Iran.
Wow.
Yeah, it'd be all bad. This person says, she's done cosplaying.
Oh, wow.
Says, Kevin Gates scared you back to yourself. Individual says, don't play with God like that. The real DJ says, knew this wasn't going to last long. You could tell it just wasn't her.
Like I said, it wasn't her. Like I said before, she was just using Islam basically to comfort herself. She was just trying to run away from what she actually needs to face, which is herself, which is within. It just don't make no sense. Whenever you want to fix an issue, like let's just use, for example, a company. A company has an issue. Where do you think the company is gonna start trying to fix the issue? Let's say data got leaked from clients. Where do you think the company is going to start first, trying to fix and rectify that issue when data, confidential data from clients are being leaked? They're gonna start from within, internally, inside with the staffs, like administrators, everything. Like, look at CCTV cameras, look at previous logs. It's all within first. You don't go outside. I don't know, trying to find some newspaper, newsletter, whatever to like do research for you. No, you look within first. And if you can't figure out yourself what's within, then you might go ask someone from outside to still come within, so to help you figure out where it got leaked. Within, it all comes back to within. And that's the thing that she didn't do, man. Like, that's what she's not realizing. Like, she see, I think what it is, she's confused. She's generally trying to like find a way, find a path that's right for herself, that leads her to where she, I think, believes she wants to go to. But she's generally trying. I think she's generally trying. She's not trying to take the piss out of Islam. I don't think she's trying to do that. But she's generally trying. I simply just think she's going about it in the wrong way. But at the very least, she is trying, and God loves a trier, no matter what, whether it's right or wrong. God nonetheless loves a trier. So hopefully, eventually, she will find the right way, method, and path for herself. But yeah, that's what I can't really knock her for doing all this. Like, sure, it's funny, comical, rude, but who am I to judge her? Because everyone, at the end of the day, has their own path that they're going to take, and each person's path is different to mine and yours.
Now, I want you guys to understand how Brittany Renner can do this. And I kind of want to get back to something that happened in the history of the black community. And I want to use Wu-Tang Clan as an example. RZA, who is one of the most known people of Wu-Tang Clan, is going to explain some principles that some of you may or may not know.
What the
I'm very curious to hear this.
father was able to do was
That some of you may or may not know.
what the father was able to do was through his teachings, he was able to bring out the mathematics and I think one of the most important lessons, which is called the 12 jewels. And those are knowledge, wisdom, understanding, freedom, justice, equality, food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness.
So RZA is breaking down the 12 Jews, and he mentions somebody by the name of Father Allah. Now, Father Allah, or Allah the Father, is known as Clarence 13X. Clarence 13X was a member of the Nation of Islam who was from Danville, Virginia, and then was in the New York City area, and I believe he was from Harlem. And then he was kicked out, allegedly, of the Nation of Islam for gambling. So what he did was, this particular teaching...
I don't know why I'm laughing, but this is just, bro. I just didn't expect, I didn't see that coming. Out of every possible thing you could have committed to get kicked out, you get kicked out for gambling. Bruh, really?
Of the 12 Jews actually was a teaching that Malcolm X used to teach to ministers in the Nation of Islam, for what I understand, and it was only secret teachings that should not be put out there to the public. But what happened was Clarence 13X decided to, if you want to say, perverse the Nation of Islam teachings and take it to the kids or to the children, and started feeding the people with this information. And of course, what happened in 1969 was brutal. He was assassinated for this, right? And so when you look at the nations of gods and earth, and they have a whole lot of influence on hip hop, Nas, Jay-Z, Wu-Tang Clan, Supreme Team, 50 Cent, a lot of these guys use some of these teachings, right? Especially in the idea of the mathematics and teachings like that. Well, it's a perverse ideology of the Nation of Islam. And then some could argue that Nation of Islam is a perverted version of the Sunni original Islam. And so when you look at Brittany Renner and Kevin Gates, it's arguable that they're using a perverse religion of Islam anyway that suits them. So for her, it's okay to change the religion and make it fit her. It's no different than what Christians do all the time. I mean, you can go to some churches, stop the show, in Atlanta, and now you have two gay men that are the pastor. You have a pastor married to a first husband. Now, many would argue that is a perverted ideology of Christianity. And for many folks,
I could say something and talk about, essentially what Christianity says or truly says about, being gay, but I'm not gonna do that. That's history, and this is not a history class right now.
It will be. The reality is this: Brittany Renner was not gonna conform to anything that was serious. As soon as things got too hard or got too difficult, she was gonna go back to herself. And we all knew that. I was trying to give her an opportunity to say that maybe she has changed, but she didn't. And most people are like this. And then when you see women like Brittany Renner that kind of have, kind of a weak infrastructure, this is not uncommon. And I think that guys need to realize that when you're dealing with a woman that's, dealt with some level of trauma and dealt with some level of, can you say, abuse or self-esteem issues, hey, they may be able to stick with it for a few months, but for a whole year and change their life, they're going to go back to what they were. And if you don't understand that, it's okay. And the fact that she even chose Kevin Gates in the first place, well, we all knew that.
That was a very, very bad start. If you're trying to change yourself If you're trying to change your environment, why would you invite someone to your environment that is not going to help your environment? If anything is going to make it worse and drag it back. Which probably led to her reverting back to her habits. Because the more you're trying to stray away from your old habits, the more your old habits are going to do their best to catch back up to you. Like, they will always, at every opportunity, at every corner, at every door, try to grab you and drag you back to your old self. And you have to do your utmost best to resist that and not succumb to it and continue to move forward and shed away your old skin.
Brittany Renner eventually could return back to the streets. And after 9 months,
I think she will.
It's safe to say, or even 8 months, she'll be back posting booty pictures, and she'll be still saying, it's still Allah, I still love Allah, in her own mind, because she'll find a way to still make it okay. And then, you know, after about 2 years, she'll leave the religion completely and go back to clapping it out. What do you think? It's your boy, Shady Jackson, back at it again with another.
Nah, I do think she's probably gonna go back. Yeah, she's probably gonna go back to her old ways, her old tendencies, because it does kind of seem like she's not capable of resisting her old self, her old habits, and shifting away from that old environment that she used to be in. But I could be wrong, but we'll find out soon enough eventually. Anyway, shout out to Osha Duke Jackson, as always. As you can see, man, check him out for sure. And yeah, until next time, guys.